Home birth versus hospital. What's better for you? This episode will give you clarity and confidence from our experience in both settings. Welcome to From Her Side. Welcome to From Her Side podcast. I'm Charlie Lotus, but you can call me Lo.
I'm Theron. You can call me DZ. Welcome. Appreciate y'all coming.
Definitely. We're so happy to have you here and a part of our village. And my beautiful co-host of a husband.
Let it breathe.
And here we are. We've had 4 babies in 4 years.
Yeah, she can't keep her hands off me.
4 daughters in 4 years.
4 little
and
sweet princesses.
Pregnant with the 5th.
What we gonna have? We
don't know what it is. So we're
I know.
very excited to meet who's joining the crew. But we thought that we would spend some time kind of going over how we got here in...
They know how we got here, but...
Well, not that part. In our birth experience, I think so many mamas, especially first-time mamas, because I was one of them, there's so much research you can do and there's so much advice you can get, but until you've experienced potentially what your birth could be, you really don't understand how one decision could gear you toward a different path.
How are you confident enough to not go to the hospital for a birth and just trust that you could do it at the house with no medical intervention?
So I had a very unique experience in starting having hospital births and then my births getting more and more natural. So luckily for me, I got to experience a natural birth in a setting that I was familiar with, and that gave me the confidence to do it at home.
Okay. I respect it. I do. I respect the holistic approach.
Do you remember when I first came to you wanting to do home birth?
I remember we talked about it.
And you were a little hesitant.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Well, in our experience, we'd been through a lot, right? We've had 4 babies in 4 years, going from C-section to a VBAC with an epidural to a VBAC without an epidural in a hospital, and then a home birth. And now we are gearing up for our second home birth.
Right.
So I think the progressions of birth gave me more experience. And like I've said before, just each one got better and better each time. And so for those of our followers who are looking for insight on the differences between hospital and home birth, I think what resonates most with me in comparing the two is just your level of comfort. Hey mama, quick pause. I hope you're enjoying the conversation. Have you ever felt exhausted and overwhelmed by motherhood? I totally get it. Truth is, you're a better mama when you get a good night's sleep. That's why I created this live event called the Better Mama Sleep Club's 3-Day Sleep Challenge, where I will teach you everything you need to know in 3 days to get your child to sleep peacefully throughout the night so that you can be more rested, joyful, and present with your little ones. Make sure you click the link in the description below because there's only a limited amount of spots, and I would love to help you through this season of your life. Let's get back to the conversation.
Did you feel safer or more nervous at home than the hospital?
I naturally have a little bit of white coat syndrome. So when I would go to doctor's appointments, like my blood pressure would read higher than it is if I'm at home and things like that. So I was definitely more comfortable at home we're in our home. It's familiar, no fluorescent lighting beaming on me. The bed in the hospital is not comfortable at all because it's made for birthing, not made for, a hotel stay.
Yeah. In the hospital, did you feel like rushed to have the baby or pressured to hurry up and get the baby out, whether you were safe or healthy or not?
Yeah. So I think in the experiences that I had in the hospital, there's always this sense of fear. Like you're in a place where there's so many different things and interventions and tools and things that would strike anyone's anxiety, that it's hard not to wonder, like, what could happen in that setting.
So just for people to understand this, you didn't just have a natural birth in the hospital, then go home. You had a emergency C-section, then you had a epidural VBAC, then you had an all natural birth in the hospital, and then we had the home water birth, and now we're having another home water birth. But so going from there, what would you say are the main benefits in having hospital birth versus a home birth? Because I know some people might be looking at like, well, yeah, I understand that you feel comfortable at home, but what if something goes wrong? I have stress about that.
Right.
What would you say to them?
So I think the pros about having a hospital birth is that you're somewhere where everything that you could potentially need to intervene if there was something going wrong with health or baby or you, that it's there and it's close by. I think that, medical interventions have come a really long way and they continue to get better and better over time. And even though the C-section was my least favorite birth experience and recovery, and I definitely wouldn't want to have to experience that again, I am really grateful for the OB who did mine and taking my questions and considerations into account before just,
Right.
It was such a whirlwind, and birth can feel like that. Like decisions are made on the fly. And so it can really impact the outcome.
Yeah.
So
in that, I know we've been in the hospital before, but we've been at home. My experience, I like being at home. It was just a smoother process. In the hospital, I am 6'7", 6'6". I know there's people out there measuring people on YouTube. So
you are not 6'6".
Okay. Don't have them coming over here measuring me because they be doing it. They got YouTube channels. But anyways, I know that them hospitals are small. They be having me up in that little couch, all crunched up, feet on the wall. Every time I fall asleep, that lady run through that door. Boom. Golly, you can't.
Yeah.
Man. They give a little, they knock, but they don't really knock. You know that knock where you going to come in regardless? That's that knock like you better get ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, they give you the better get ready knock, and they slide on through.
There's a lot of interruptions in the
hospital.
hospital.
Man. Yeah, at home.
Oh my gosh. And hearing other women birthing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That was.
What?
It was, yeah.
You get woken.
Like trying to relax and rest and prepare for baby's arrival and make sure you're resting up until the point, and then hearing another woman, and everyone births differently, like people vocalize differently, but to hear the person, I will never forget my first VBAC hearing a woman next door screaming. And I was like, do I really want to do this?
Man. You up next, huh?
I know, right? I'm like, right. Dilating.
Nah, but you smashed it. You did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. So moving on towards I know we talked about the benefits of hospital births, but we also know there's some negatives in terms of the rushed, hurry up, have the baby type of situation.
Not home birth? Or in hospital?
Hospital. Okay. I meant hospital if I said home, excuse me. But I meant hospital birth. We talked about the good things about them, just having medical intervention, how you appreciate that. But also, we felt like a number on the next ones. You know what I mean? Hurry up. The C-section, I feel like they handled it with care because they had to do some intervention. But then, epidural, just to get it out, they're like, okay, cool, next bed, next person type thing.
Yeah.
So when we got home and started doing the home birth, I felt like it was a lot more chill, relaxed, forgot, we were even pregnant sometimes just because man, we went to the hospital in a minute. You know what I mean? So it was I say that to say it was a great experience, the transition from hospital to home, just because we got to chill a little bit. What do you feel like you would tell the girls if they came to you hey, mama, I'm thinking about having a home birth? Would you be excited about that? Would you encourage them to do that?
I would absolutely encourage them to do a home birth.
Okay.
I think there's something really empowering about really trusting your body. And for someone who went from an emergency C-section, had health complications, was not trusting of my body, and, just kind of just hoping it would happen and then experiencing that. I think there's a lot of power in trusting your body, also how God designed us. And that's not to say, first of all, no judgment to anyone who is required or needs a C-section, right? Because every birth is different. Every woman is
No
different.
judgment, period.
Yeah,
Even
no
if you
judgment.
even if you want a C-section.
Yeah, even if you want one, there's no judgment here. And there's many reasons why people could want one.
Right.
I just, in my personal experience, the empowerment and connection that I felt in birthing my children, one child or two children naturally, one at home and one in the hospital, out of the 4 so far, there's just a different feeling you have to be able to birth knowing God created my body this way. Our ancestors have been birthing this way for thousands and thousands of years is really, really empowering. And also because of not having any of the interventions and things like that, you get the most natural experience of what it is to birth a child, bring them earthside.
Were there ever points in the home birth where you're like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Why did I do this? Like, man, we can't roll over to the hospital real quick.
So I think, yes, there was a moment. And I give myself and all women a lot of grace in that moment. And most of the time when that happens, it's when you are in transition to going into active labor.
Okay.
When, baby's really close to coming. And I remember looking at you and shaking my head because there was a part of me that felt like I just couldn't keep going. But I had to remember that that's natural even because birth is the closest thing you'll get to death. It's your body experiences an amount of pain that is greater than what you're supposed to be able to handle. And so that sounds crazy and I don't want to be discouraging, but to think that something so supernatural is happening that you can live through that, you can be strong through that, you can power through mentally and physically through that. It's something I will never forget. It is a part of me, and it's something that I may forget other experiences, but that is one that will live with me forever.
You can feel that, you could just remember the pain.
I can look at a video and be like,
I know what that felt like.
Wow. I remember that so clearly.
When you talk about the home birth situation and the pain of management of it all, would you say the recovery was faster for a hospital natural birth or a home water birth? Which recovery was faster?
My home water birth was my fastest, easiest recovery by far, because I think my body was just able to do what it needed to do. Hospitals can, once again, cause a lot of anxiety or make you feel like something's not progressing fast enough or you're not healing fast enough.
Yeah.
Where just really trusting your body to do what it's meant to do. And this is not medical advice. Please listen to your medical professional.
Consult your medical professional. Point at them.
Consult your medical professional.
This is not medical advice.
This is not medical advice. Hey, Mama, thank you for joining us. Motherhood never ends, and neither should our fellowship. Make sure you join our community so we can do life together and be the village that we've always wanted and needed. But if you're healthy, baby's healthy, pregnancy's going well, then yeah, it's a really special experience. And I remember having the hospital natural birth, and I told myself that if I could birth in a hospital and not use any interventions, then I could probably do it at home. And even then in the hospital, I still had an IV. So I had this, the IV attached to me and going from the bathroom to the bed and having to take it and, it getting in the way, the monitors on my belly. And then after I had the baby, they gave me Pitocin through the IV.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was just if I was at home,
right.
If it was absolutely necessary, me and baby would be transported to the hospital.
Right.
So what, like, is it necessary or is it just like precautionary almost?
So let me ask you, as a mom, did you feel more supported in the hospital for your natural birth or at home for your natural birth?
100% at home. So, not to knock our nurses, we've had really good experiences with nurses in the hospital.
Yeah, straight. That's cool.
Yeah. But there's a different level of care that I think midwifery leans itself toward, and also your doula, should you choose to have one. I love our doula.
Yeah, she's dope.
She is extremely intuitive and able to recognize when I need something without me having to verbalize it. And even moments where I couldn't verbalize it. Like I needed something, but I couldn't
You didn't know.
really communicate or explain what it was that I needed. And so she did a wonderful job at giving me support and comfort and encouragement, and in a way that felt very nurturing and motherly. And I needed that in that moment to feel loved and supported and that I could do it. Darren, do you see his face? Baby,
I'm doula daddy.
You are doula daddy.
Yeah, don't play with me.
You are doula daddy.
I'm just playing. I don't think I'm just so
and you be right there.
I know. I understand what you mean, baby. You good.
Okay. I mean, I know you're messing with me, but you are very much a part of the birth as well. So even just their ability to recognize, like, maybe you're needing a break, or maybe you need to go drink some water, or, giving you a tool so you could, like, see if anything's happening, or, I felt more cared for.
Yeah.
And like I said, the nurses did a great job, but at the hospital birth, I will never forget the nurse saying, "You need to breathe. You're going to hyperventilate."
Yeah.
And I was like,
not even like nice.
She was annoyed with me.
Nice.
And she was wonderful. She was a wonderful nurse, but she was definitely like
stern.
Yes. And that was not what I needed. I remember looking at her like,
yeah. Girl, do you know this pain I'm going through? I will
Did you
snatch
feel
you.
children without an epidural?
Look, I will snatch you. In Jesus' name. I'm just playing. Don't do that. You're going to pray for it, but you're going to pray for it. No, okay. So
I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
So I know that you said that you really enjoyed the transition from going to the hospital and the appointments and all of that up to birth to then switching to a home birth.
Yeah.
What was your experience in helping me labor, and how hands-on you were and how involved in comparison to the hospital? Did you feel like you were more hands-on in one?
Honestly, I felt like more hands off in the home birth. That's kind of weird. But we just had a lot of help. And everybody was like, I could just focus on just being there for you instead of me having to do everything. I could just focus on the emotional aspect and just like making sure you're good instead of me having to worry about this and worry about that and go over here, make sure who got the kids and who's doing that and whatever's happening. So it's better for me to be at home and be your support system versus being at the hospital and like worrying about, okay, where are the girls at? Who got the kids? Everything outside of the hospital, everything outside of the room I had to worry about. But at home, it's just like I just worry about what's in the house because that's where everything that's where everything is at. You know what I mean? So it was just way easier that way. It was easier for me to support you, less focused on anything else. So I prefer being at the house. That was way better.
Did you feel more comfortable or confident because you didn't feel the need to not only control the outside aspects, but advocate for me?
Well, okay, yeah. So advocating for you is like my main, like one of the main things I not stress about, but I kind of focus on because I don't want them pulling no slick stuff at the hospital just because of the, you know what I mean? I ain't going for it.
There's an untrust.
I ain't going for it, man. I ain't going for it.
Or lack of trust.
Yeah, it's not mine. We're not going for it. But yeah, we at the house, I don't have to advocate. I trust the midwife. I trust the doula. Like I trust what we going through. We already have it at home, so that shows that we trust y'all because we're not going to the hospital. So I think I just had a level of trust that had just allowed me to be just calm, cool, collected when we're going through everything. So yeah. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think one aspect I really want to like really, really push is that in a hospital as a partner, you had a huge responsibility of advocating for me and making sure that not only was I taken care of, but like you said, nothing outside of what we desired was being pushed or pressed and you know, we spent so long between the first and second pregnancy working toward having a vaginal birth to then going from the second to the third is having it be a natural birth. And so we had progressed over time, but having a partner that can strongly advocate for you and you feel comfortable and confident in their abilities to have your back is also something that's really necessary in a hospital.
Not having somebody to advocate for you and just, I'm not saying trusting them is bad, but not asking questions and just like being blind to what they saying. It's your life. It's your baby. It's, you got like, regardless of what they telling you, you're going to have to live with whatever decisions are made. So that's my biggest like takeaway from it all is like, regardless of what's happening, you're gonna have to live with the decisions you made. Whether you stopped the doctor, whether you didn't stop the doctor, whether you questioned what they said, whether you didn't question what they said, you and your family gonna have to live with it. So I would just suggest doing your research and figuring out what's best for you and yours before you go and jump and make a decision based off of, you know, just assumption. I think that's the biggest thing. Because even, you know, this advice we got from, they said, hey, after you have a C-section, you can't have any other births. It's not suggested to have any other births. And then now we're sitting here on our second home water birth. So I think that is
fourth vaginal birth.
And so I think it's just important for people to do their own research and, you know, have faith, however they have faith in what they believe in, what we believe in is going to happen. And we spoke it. And now that's, you know, that's where we're at. So God is good in that regard. So I really, that's my biggest takeaway. If you want something, you figure out how to go get it. And we did. And God is good. So.
It's like what we tell the girls. There's a consequence for every choice that you make.
For sure.
Whether it's good or bad. There is always a direct consequence to any choice that you make. Hey mama, just a quick pause here. I hope you're really enjoying this content. Remember, motherhood feels better when you're rested, supported, and connected. So if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel to join our community of thriving rested mamas. We'd love to have you a part of our village. Let's get back to it.
So I agree with you 1,000%. In terms of like choices and consequences, what are 3 things that you would avoid if you were considering a home birth?
One of them, and in no particular order, other people's advice. I think it's really, really important. There's a few things that I think you and I have really honed in on over the course of our birth experience is if you don't want the same outcome or if you don't want the same life or entities of someone else's life, then be mindful of the advice that they give, right? Because their advice is from their experience or their knowledge. And I think there's so many people who don't understand home birth, who think it's crazy or outlandish or, you know, or have their own unsafe, you know, all of these things. So I think being really mindful who you share your plans with and making sure that whoever is in your life and going to be speaking life into you is very aware and respectful of your boundaries and what you are hoping and speaking over your own life.
Right.
So I think that that's one thing for sure I would avoid. The second is I would avoid starting off in the hospital. The difference between our 4th birth and our 5th birth, both being home water births, is that our 4th, we started off in the hospital and then transitioned to a home birth right before the 3rd trimester. And we still had to advocate for ourselves so much, even though we were on our 4th pregnancy, 3rd vaginal, you know, they're still trying to schedule a C-section in the event I go over 40. And, you know, it's just, and that's not to say that things don't happen, right? Anything could happen. And God's plan is greater than what you could ever want for yourself because he knows best. Us starting this birth process and pregnancy from jump with our midwives and doula and not going to the hospital has made this such a more relaxed experience in which I feel way more confident and just chill.
Yeah.
I think chill is like I'm not really stressing the birth process at all.
Yeah. So
you said 3?
Yeah.
Or can I stop at 2?
You can stop with 2 if you want.
I was trying to think what else I would avoid.
Don't slow down. I think there's a
With a
better
home
question
birth.
based off of.
Oh, I have like a silly one.
Okay, go ahead. 3 is what?
If you're thinking about a home birth, and one thing I would avoid is not having your like post birth meal ready for you.
Oh, not having it.
Not having it ready. Like one thing you definitely have to do is plan,
That's not
because
silly.
the last
Especially
one
for women.
we didn't plan. I didn't even think of what was in the fridge, and I remember her doula came up to us like laying on the bed with the baby, and she's like, "What would you like to eat? You need to, nourish your body." Like so calm, and I was like, "I think there's pizza in there from last night. I'll just take that. Could you warm it up, please?"
Ain't nothing wrong with no leftover pizza.
No, there's
Breakfast
nothing.
of
She loves some leftover pizza,
No,
but
no, I got you. For your
know,
meal after you give birth, you
yeah,
might
this
want
time I'm like
something.
actually going to like,
What you want, actually?
well, I've been batch making my pancakes.
Okay,
So
no. What do you want as your meal? What do you want as your meal after you give birth?
I would like pancakes with peanut butter on them.
What if it's at night?
Huh?
What if it's at night?
It doesn't matter. Breakfast is the best meal of the day.
Got it.
So pancakes with peanut butter and berries on top. It's like a PB&J kind of. And then breakfast, the maple breakfast sausage, the Jack and Annie's,
That's what you want?
and some fruit. Yeah.
That's what you want?
I mean, well, we're vegan. I don't know.
But that's what you want?
Unless you're going to drive to Pasadena and get me Millie's.
But you want breakfast, though.
I want breakfast.
Okay, I got it.
I would really, really love Millie's. Oh my gosh, what do I always get?
Eggs Benedict?
Yes. Eggs Benedict from Millie's.
Yes.
Cafe.
Okay. Gotcha. That's noted. That's noted. Let me ask you this. Based off your 4 births, what advice would you give moms who are torn between having a hospital birth or having a home birth?
My advice would be to write down the pros and cons from what your research is and your experience and your feelings, and based on your personality and what it is what your goals are in both.
Like your why, basically?
Yeah, your why. Because I think there's so many, and I have friends who have literally said, like, I don't want to feel anything.
So then for those friends that don't want to feel anything, what would you suggest to them?
Oh, then set yourself up with the hospital. Find out how many, how dilated you need to be able to ask for an epidural, and get you your epidural as soon as you feel it, as soon as you want it,
And it's showtime. It is light.
Yeah. And like I said, there's no judgment at all. Like some people, don't have the pain tolerance for it. Some people don't have the mental stamina for it. Some people, have past trauma with trusting their bodies. So I think I would make a list of what your pros and cons for each setting, and really ask yourself, what do I really want out of this experience?
So for any new moms out there, to summarize it, if you don't want to feel pain, go ahead and get the epidural in the hospital. If you want to go through all the feelings and feel all the stuffs and have a natural, quick recovery after you have a home water birth from her experience, of course, this is not medical advice, then go ahead and give that home water birth a try, but do your own research. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. And if you're totally confident in your provider and the hospital in which you're birthing at, and you want to go for a natural birth in the hospital, 100% support that as well. It's really solely up to you and what you would like out of that experience.
So did you enjoy your experience overall? Your home birth, the first one?
Yes. There's very little there's actually only two things that I would change from that experience.
What would you change from those experiences?
I would have broke my water myself. So for our followers, I'm giving you some inside scoop. My doulas, or my doula and midwives, have shared with me that most vegan and vegetarian people tend to have very healthy bags that the baby sits in. So they tend to be really strong. And just healthy eaters in general, right? And so that was something that I think my delivery was delayed probably like 2 or 3 hours because my waters were still intact.
Of course.
And in fact, my water literally broke, and then her head was out, and then her body was out.
Then we had a baby.
And we had a baby. But also, if that was something I was going to change, I also loved that my midwives and doula were so hands off. No one checked me. No one was filling around. I was just in the tub,
floating,
doing my thing, breathing through contractions. And that also was very empowering to me.
Jacuzzi, huh?
It's getting a little cold in here. Let's add some hot water. And then the second thing that I look forward to improving this time is I felt very strong and confident up until the point where I felt the ring of fire. And I knew how to breathe through it, through the techniques that our doula had shared with me. And I knew what I was doing, but it's a very intense feeling. And I think my first reaction was to be scared. And so I have done a lot of, meditation and prayer and thought process on this time, how I would like to be able to get through that and experience it in a different way. And not automatically jump to fear.
So not to fear the ring of fire, but to take it over.
Yeah. Well, I have a fear of tearing, just because I think that that's a really unfortunate. I mean, our bodies are made to do what they do, right? And so it's not unnatural if it does happen, but it's just something that I would like to avoid at all costs.
Understood. So I think that we've had a great experience in home birth overall. I think the biggest thing that we have drawn from it is just being present in the moment and just knowing that we have a great team around us. And as long as we put our effort towards, I guess, the right steps for home birth, then we'll be all right. So
agreed. 100%.
Hopefully that helps all the new mamas out there, or multiple mamas that are tired of the hospital who had bad hospital experiences. Hope this helps y'all.
And for those of you who are trying to figure out what's best for you, or know someone who is doing so, make sure you send this to them and help them out a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether you're planning for a hospital birth or dreaming of a home birth, or just trying to figure out which is best for you, just remember, your birth story is for you. Every mama deserves to feel safe and supported and heard. And we pray that on this journey that you get exactly what you've prayed for. Remember, mama, you're doing a great job. Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate y'all. Stay safe, stay blessed. Love y'all.
Big deuces, baby.